day one threw some toss and turns towards some anglers. The wind, which has been roaring, Such, this week, maybe will lay down a little bit more today than it ever has all week.
It's starting pretty light today. It will build, though. The highest, it's going to get around 20 miles an hour after our guys are off the water, though.
We are in North Texas, so almost as north as you can get over here on the more central east side of the state. Lake Ray Roberts, about an hour from Fort Worth down the highway. If you can catch it with no traffic. And it is a land of big bass, but not a land of plentiful fish. So we saw some do or die, some haves and have-nots, but we saw some big fish come across the stage yesterday. Fish as big as almost 9 pounds, and we had 11 20-pound bags. And in 5th place, a guy we expected to be right here, Lee Livesay, 23 pounds, even gets you in the top 5, and Lee Livesay showed out. It all went down for him in about a 20-minute stretch yesterday, and that is why he's on camera again today. And of course, one of the hottest names in the sport of fishing. I don't know of a body of water he's bad at. Jay Shakir at 23.7 after day one has him in 4th place.
Steady day for him.
Then, if everyone was counting Easton Fothergill out after having a tough 2 elites, they might have made him mad because he showed up big day one of the Classic, 24 pounds, 15 ounces.
Well, 6-pounders there, Ronnie.
But that's only good for bronze after day one because silver goes to Corey Johnston, 25 pounds, 9 ounces. And we got to see him kind of make a flurry as well up shallow yesterday.
He had a 7.10, Ronnie. He was a pretty big fish.
You thought he had 2 6s? Nope, one of those was almost an 8-pounder. And then this guy, we picked a good 10 yesterday, Such, because 3 of our top 5, we got to watch them all day, and 26.9 for the youngest Classic competitor.
20 years old. Fothergill's 23, the other Shakir's 25, and Johnston lives here, 39-year-old, so we got a good mix.
We do got a good mix, no doubt about it. Got about 20 minutes, 25 minutes till takeoff, and so this is the way the leaderboard shook out yesterday. Trey McKinney on top, like we said. There's your top 5, Corey, Easton, Jay, and Lee. You got John Cox in the mix at 22 even, Kiyoya Fujita. I love how you can fish like John Cox or fish like Kiyoya Fujita, and at Ray Roberts, you can have almost the same exact weight. Hunter Shryock, Drew Benton, and Brian Schmidt rounding out our top 10. The only 20-plus pound bag not mentioned in the top 10, Wes Logan.
4
20
fish,
pounds
right?
on 4 fish. Welcome in this morning to our Facebook Live pre-show for day 2 of the Classic, presented by Bill Dance Signature Series Lakes in Tennessee. We are in the state of Texas, though, and Trey McKinney had some Texas-sized bass yesterday.
And a lot of them, Ronnie.
I caught him backstage at about 9:30 last night when he was getting escorted out of there, and I said, hey, why so secretive with your baits, bro?
What do you have to say about that?
He just smiled, smirked, and said, hey, I'm doing what I got to do. And I said, I understand.
We're going to get a glimpse of it today. You can kind of...
You get a jerk bait there, but there's some other baits he's hiding from us, so.
Throwing them in the water real quick after he unbuttons it.
We will keep an eye on it. Such, I feel like we just finished being live at the weigh-in last night. That day one weigh-in goes a little longer than the others, and it was a big day of fishing for all of our anglers. Big in many respects. Either you caught them or it was your first time coming across the Classic stage.
Yeah, it's kind of how the guys said would play out. Not everybody would get a limit. Wes Logan, decent bag with just 4, but only 27 of the 56 guys had limits. The average was pretty good, 3 pounds, 10 ounces, Ronnie. Cut weight is going to be around 30 pounds. Handlers 14-14 in 25th place.
We had an 8-12 from John Garrett. He only had 3 bass and was still in the top 25.
It's like, let's go. You know, it's like, I don't know. Got her.
But we're seeing Trey McKinney do a little bit of what he did at Lake Fork in that timber. And boy, it showed up big for him yesterday.
I had John Garrett say it's probably going to play out how it did at Fork last year. And it kind of did for this guy who won at Lake Fork last year with almost a record weight, 130 pounds.
If you're just joining us this early morning on a Saturday, Ray Roberts, our playing field this week, has experienced a lot of heavy winds. Probably out of the 4 practice days that were given to the anglers over a week's time span, about 2.5 of them were 25 to 40 mile an hour winds. Made it very difficult, Such, for these anglers to find anything, especially if they've never been here. And now it's starting to lay down. We're starting to get a little bit of a picture of what they need to do. And some of those local favorites like Livesay, Zaldane, they're hanging tough. Over 18 pounds for both of them.
It's about 10 degrees warmer than it was yesterday morning at this time, Ronnie. The winds are lighter. They're 4 or 5 miles an hour. They're going to climb throughout the day, though. But I think they'll be able to get around in the morning a lot more than they have been.
Absolutely, and yesterday they had to make some changes on the takeoff location because they had to launch somewhere else because the wind was blowing pretty strong right into takeoff.
The ramp.
But it did grow throughout the day. It did get a little bit windier. We saw Corey Johnston idling out in some windy conditions yesterday, and that was when his day changed for the better. And our takeoff today is back to the regularly scheduled Isle de Bois. I believe that's how you say Isle de Bois Park there. The sandy beaches of Ray Roberts.
Line them up.
I will say, if you're thinking of heavy winds, man, there's got to be some muddy water somewhere. All this sand right here at this location kind of represents the bottom contour.
A lot of rock, too.
And rock and sand, so it's not really that dirty. And I'm going to show you at the screen later today on the Deep Dive app a little bit more and less about the wind, more about the water clarity on this body of water and how it's actually really good fishing water throughout the lake. And like we mentioned, Corey Johnston, he changed gears yesterday. He caught a couple on a spinning rod in the morning, but when he changed gears midday, Such, that's when we started to see true Ray Roberts giants come into the boat. That 6+ pound fish, he had 2 of them yesterday.
Yeah.
That's why we come to
We
Texas,
said only 27 guys had limits. He and Trey McKinney were two of the guys who had like 8 fish. Hunter Shrike had the most fish yesterday, 11 scoreable fish they put into Bass Track.
Corey Johnston said backstage with Andrew Hayes on our All Access show, I wanted to get 10 bites. He got 7.
Yeah.
But I think he's pleased with the 7 he got. And
oh, yeah.
You want to be in that range. You don't want to be in the 4 to 5 bite range. If you're in the 7 or 8, maybe 10 bite range, it gives you enough opportunity to get up to the weight that you desire. And boy, he connected on a couple yesterday.
Another giant.
Absolutely.
It's like
about 1 pound.
Crucial fish.
Playing 7-card poker, getting rid of that 3 of clubs.
And you can't go back and hindsight yourself, but there were guys yesterday who caught a 5-fish limit for 14 pounds and didn't have a big one, Such. But then you have guys who have 2 big ones and they're thankful for it. Maybe a guy has 3 fish and one's an 8-pounder, and you're like, how do I balance quantity with quality? And that's what some guys, if they caught 5 for 12, 5 for 14, they're like, I got to either switch it up or I got to go through as many fish, hoping one of them's a big one.
We heard a lot of guys say, I had a big one follow, I missed it, or I just missed catching it. Today with a little warmer conditions, the water may rise a bit with some sunshine. They may get those big ones to bite, Ron. It could be a different day for several anglers.
Yeah, I think that switch up from north wind to south wind yesterday maybe surprised some anglers on how good their fishing was or bad. Today, either a direction change or at least a less intense wind speed, that can also open up some areas that were unfishable yesterday, or you could fish them but not efficiently.
We heard Livesay say he spent too long in the morning. Didn't he have but like 1 fish till he had a great flurry?
Absolutely, and then you think about it, he was fishing a wide, expansive, area for the most part. Had 1,000 casts in the region, he said, but when he found that lineup late in the day, he caught 4 or 5 fish on basically back-to-back casts, and that's basically all of his weight, other than maybe one of these early fish. But having a 612 in his bag was huge, and then obviously a lot of solid 3-pounders, and so that's got to make Lee Livesay feel good that he caught 3 to 3.5 pounders as plentiful as he did, because the fact of the matter is, you can't always rely on a 7-pounder. Maybe here, but a bunch of 3s will keep you going.
He's sitting pretty in pink, Ronnie.
Absolutely. A pink bladed jig showing up. How about that? Obviously, we know about lipless crankbaits and other things in that pinkish, muted red tone that has worked in the past, and why not apply it to a bladed jig? But he got on this stretch, and it was huge. It was huge for his day.
Well, he's won events here and has probably the most experience, even Zaldane living in Fort Worth. He's fished it for years and caught a 12.5-pounder in practice running that. He would be the guy I'd be scared of, even though he's 3.5 pounds back in the lead.
There were some anglers yesterday that didn't have to hammer on their stuff. They said, I've actually saved some stuff for later in the tournament, maybe.
Go to their second spot.
I think Trey McKinney said that. He said, I can just do this, and maybe he can save stuff for the final day, and that is crazy for your first Bassmaster Classic that you're maybe in that position. we take a look at our takeoff there for day 2 of the 55th annual Bassmaster Classic 2025 here at Lake Ray Roberts. They're all lined up, and we're about 15 minutes or so, give or take a minute or two, from takeoff. 56 anglers lined up.
Probably had no nerves. They're just ready to get out there and try to bust a big bag on day 2.
Brought it into the weigh-in yesterday. The expo was popping. The weigh-in started to get charged up when the big fish showed up, and I know it's going to be big today as well, so you got to make your way to Dickey's Arena to check out the weigh-in from these 56 anglers today.
This is the 55th edition of the greatest spectacle in all of sport fishing. Are you ready? Who let the hogs out? Trey McKinney. Somebody went to the Piggly Wiggly. 26 pounds, 9 ounces. Jay Shakur, 23 pounds, 7 ounces. Giant bass. 812 and a brand new Mercury Big Bass for John Garrett. Are you kidding me? Ryan Schmidt. Ben Milliken.
We got a secret weapon tomorrow, Dave. Pickled quail legs.
If you catch 25 tomorrow, I'll have one with you. Kyle Patrick.
Being here, seeing my lovely girlfriend, hopefully soon to be fiance. I'm weird, and no one else would date me, ever.
Lee Lunacy. 21 pounds, 12 ounces. Let's hear it. Are you ready?
I would never promise to eat pickled quail eggs if someone caught a certain amount of weight, because you just never know. And also, Kyle
Mercer
Patrick,
does
you're
anything on
absolutely
a
correct.
bed.
I don't know if anybody would date Kyle Patrick, so bless
Oh,
Caroline.
wow.
Just bless her. Bless her. So take a live look at takeoff this morning. That sun trying to creep over those Central Texas hills, I guess you could call them.
Daylight at 7:30 again. They're going to launch.
Talk to second place Corey Johnston. Let's hear from him this morning as he prepares for takeoff in just a few minutes.
Man, I feel good. I don't know. It's not nervous at all. Just we're going fishing. It's I don't have one spot where it's loaded, got a bunch of fish. We're just gonna run around, do what we do, and see what happens. I might not get a bite today. I don't know. We'll just do what I think I need to do, and it is what it is at the end of the day. I don't know. Have some fun out there anyway.
Awesome to have.
This will become our second Canadian Classic winner. Rub it into his little brother, Chris, who's our first Canadian AOI.
That's the only thing left. Chris was the first one to win an elite event. Chris was the first one to win AOI. Corey was the first to win an open. Corey's now won 2 elites. The Classic's the only thing left. Gussie
For the
beat him
brothers,
to that.
yeah,
For
Gussie
the brothers,
got
for
the-
the brothers, yes. It's more about their competition than them and the other 54 anglers. You know
Yeah,
about that.
always.
Yeah,
it always with
absolutely.
those two guys who share their earnings. And what a day we're going to have, Ronnie Moore.
Man, the afternoon was big. We know it is in the spring time of year, those chillier water temperatures, a cold night. It was a little bit of a warmer night, and we should get a warm night tonight as well. So that means to me, we may get some early action today, early action tomorrow, but we should have sustained big ones throughout the day.
Sunshine, light wind, enough to break the water surface and help them catch some fish, Ronnie.
You'll want to tune in today, Bassmaster.com. In 15 minutes, 8:30 Eastern Time, Bassmaster.com. We'll be on Fox throughout the day as well, but I'll let Tommy Sanders, Mark Zona, Davey Height, and Peter Miller break that down. Such and I will be around doing something because it's the Bassmaster Classic. You got to be
for
here.
big fish, Ronnie.